على الهوا.
سوا على طول ما بيبعدنا المكان.
سوا على الهوا من ميشيغان وواشنطن.
من يوم اللي اتكون يا وطني الموت كنا سوا، لا يوم اللي بيعتق يا وطني الغيب رح نبقى سوا.
من ميشيغان on WNZK 690 AM ومن واشنطن on WDMV 700 AM.
سوا في الهوا والهمين الزاوية.
سوا على الهوا يأتيكم عبر أثير إذاعة
صباح الخير أمريكا.
لما نكون سوا يا حياتي سوا، دايبين بالهوا ما تعد الساعات، ما تقوليلي روح أنا ما بدي روح، بعيونك مشلوح ليلة وليلة. أنا حدك برتاح كتير، أنا شوقي لعينيك كبير. أنا حدك برتاح كتير، أنا شوقي لعينيك كبير، ما بدي سرب بكير.
يمكنكم الآن متابعة برنامج سوا على الهوا على قناة ميوزك لايف عبر الديش نتورك channel 633. البرنامج يبث لمستمعين يوم الثلاثاء الساعة 8 صباحا حسب التوقيت الشرقي للولايات المتحدة في ميشيغان وتوليدو وأوهايو ووينزر كندا على الموجة المتوسطة WNZK 690 AM، ولمستمعين في مناطق واشنطن وفرجينيا وميريلاند على الموجة المتوسطة WDMV 700 AM. يمكنكم الاستماع للبرنامج عبر الاتصال من أي هاتف على الرقم 702-489-0120. يتلقى البرنامج اتصالاتكم مباشرة من داخل الولايات المتحدة على الهاتف رقم 248-557-3300. الإضافة عبر سكايب US Arab Radio. للاستماع للبودكاست ushammedia.com.
Today's program is brought to you by Jumana K-Ruse.
Jumana K-Ruse. You've seen her images on giant billboards across the metro. Jumana K-Ruse. You've seen her images on buses across the city. Now get to know Jumana K-Ruse.
The war broke out in my home country, Lebanon. I was 11 years old, and I saw a lot of bloodshed and inequality and poverty. You can't grow up in an environment like that and not be affected by it and not want to make a difference. I graduated from Yale University with a master's in ethics. I speak 4 languages. It has always been innate in me fighting for the underdog and trying to do whatever it is I can to make a difference in the world.
Let Jumana K-Ruse protect your rights. Call the law offices of Jumana K-Ruse at 1-866-YOUR-RIGHTS, extension 100, or visit yourrights.com. Jumana K-Ruse. You've seen her images on giant billboards across the metro. Jumana K-Ruse. You've seen her images on buses across the city. Now get to know Jumana K-Ruse.
Most people who sit in my office across from my desk are hurting on so many levels. One thing people do not know about medical malpractice is that the statute of limitation, meaning the time that you have to bring suit against a doctor, a hospital, is 2 years. In medical malpractice, that's a very, very short period of time. Not every lawyer is an advocate, but every lawyer should be an advocate.
Let Jumana K-Ruse protect your rights. Call the law offices of Jumana K-Ruse at 1-866-YOUR-RIGHTS, extension 100, or visit yourrights.com.
أسعد الله صباحكم بكل خير ومرحبا بكم أحبتي في حلقة جديدة من برنامجكم الأسبوعي سوا على الهواء من ميشيغان وواشنطن. الطلاق أضراره اجتماعيا وإشكالاته القانونية في المجتمع الأمريكي في سوا على الهواء هذا الصباح من ميشيغان وواشنطن. جاءت الولايات المتحدة ضمن قائمة أكثر 10 دول في عدد المطلقات عالميا بنسبة 53% وفقا لتقرير تقرير صدر من شعبة الإحصائيات الاجتماعية والتركيبية السكانية التابعة للأمم المتحدة للعام 2014، وأرجعت تقارير أخرى دولية ومحلية الأسباب إلى مشكلات مادية والعنف ضد المرأة وعيالة الأطفال. يترك الطلاق آثارا سلبية على الأسرة الأمريكية ويهدد بتفكيك القيم الاجتماعية والترابط داخل المجتمع الواحد. حلقة جديدة من برنامجكم الحياة، القانون والمجتمع تناقش ظاهرة الطلاق داخل المجتمع الأمريكي وأبعادها القانونية الاجتماعية وكيفية حماية الأسر من آثارها السلبية. تقدمها لكم المحامية القديرة الأستاذة جمانة كيروز، وفي استضافتها إحدى أشهر المحاميات في أمريكا المحامية ديبرا نيكول ريبورت. حصلت المحامية جمانة كيروز على شهادة الماجستير من كلية الدراسات العليا بجامعة ييل، وحصلت على شهادة العلوم القانونية من جامعة وين، وهي المحامية الأكثر شهرة في ولاية ميشيغان، وهي مالكة مركز ميشيغان للإصابات الشخصية ومكاتب المحاماة لجمانة كيروز. المحامية أيضا ديبرا متخصصة في العلاقات المنزلية، القانون العائلي والطلاق، وحصلت على شهادة القانون من كلية ديترويت للحقوق في جامعة وين ستيت، وأسست مكتبها للمحاماة والذي يقع في مدينة بلومفيلد هيلز. بإمكاننا التواصل مع المحامية عبر الهاتف، وبإمكانكم الاتصال على 248-557-3300 للأسئلة ولمزيد من المعلومات. أحبتي صباح الخير للجميع، بانتظار تواصل المحامية جمانة كيروز معنا هذا الصباح. فاصل قصير للإعلان ونكون بضيافة الأستاذة جمانة كيروز.
Jumana Kayrouz. You've seen her images on giant billboards across the metro. Jumana Kayrouz. You've seen her images on buses across the city. Now get to know Jumana Kayrouz.
It's sad, but it seems like we live in an age where most lawyers are focused on the bottom line, the money. And a lot of people have stopped wanting to truly advocate. I'll never forget this case. This woman chose me as a lawyer of last resort. She was hit by a semi-truck. I was able to recover about $480,000. Not every lawyer is an advocate, but every lawyer should be an advocate.
Let Jumana Kayrouz protect your rights. Call the law offices of Jumana Kayrouz at 1-866-YOUR-RIGHTS, extension 100, or visit yourrights.com. Jumana Kayrouz. You've seen her images on giant billboards across the metro. Jumana Kayrouz. You've seen her images on buses across the city. Now get to know Jumana Kayrouz.
The war broke out in my home country, Lebanon. I was 11 years old, and I saw a lot of bloodshed and inequality and poverty. You can't grow up in an environment like that and not be affected by it and not want to make a difference. I graduated from Yale University with a master's in ethics. I speak 4 languages. It has always been innate in me fighting for the underdog and trying to do whatever it is I can to make a difference in the world.
Let Jumana Kayrouz protect your rights. Call the law offices of Jumana Kayrouz at 1-866-YOUR-RIGHTS, extension 100, or visit yourrights.com. Jumana Kayrouz. You've seen her images on giant billboards across the metro. Jumana Kayrouz. You've seen her images on buses across the city. Now get to know Jumana Kayrouz.
Most people who sit in my office across from my desk are hurting on so many levels. One thing people do not know about medical malpractice is that the statute of limitation, meaning the time that you have to bring suit against a doctor, a hospital, is 2 years. In medical malpractice, that's a very, very short period of time. Not every lawyer is an advocate, but every lawyer should be an advocate.
Let Jumana Kayrouz protect your rights. Call the law offices of Jumana Kayrouz at 1-866-YOUR-RIGHTS, extension 100, or visit yourrights.com.
سوا على الهوا. سوا على الهوا يأتيكم عبر أثير إذاعة
صباح الخير أمريكا.
اليوم اللي اتكون يا وطني الموج كنا سوا.
Jumana Kayrouz. You've seen her images on giant billboards across the metro. Jumana Kayrus. You've seen her images on buses across the city. Now get to know Jumana Kayrus.
It's sad, but it seems like we live in an age where most lawyers are focused on the bottom line, the money. And a lot of people have stopped wanting to truly advocate. I'll never forget this case. This woman chose me as a lawyer of last resort. She was hit by a semi-truck. I was able to recover about $480,000. Not every lawyer is an advocate, but every lawyer should be an advocate.
Let Jumana Kayrus protect your rights. Call the law offices of Jumana Kayrus at 1-866-YOUR-RIGHTS, extension 100, or visit yourrights.com. Jumana Kayrus. You've seen her images on giant billboards across the metro. Jumana Kayrus. You've seen her images on buses across the city. Now get to know Jumana Kayrus.
The war broke out in my home country, Lebanon. I was 11 years old, and I saw a lot of bloodshed and inequality and poverty. You can't grow up in an environment like that and not be affected by it and not want to make a difference. I graduated from Yale University with a master's in ethics. I speak 4 languages. It has always been innate in me fighting for the underdog and trying to do whatever it is I can to make a difference in the world.
Let Jumana Kayrus protect your rights. Call the law offices of Jumana Kayrus at 1-866-YOUR-RIGHTS, extension 100, or visit yourrights.com.
سوا على الهوا سوا على الهوا يأتيكم عبر أثير إذاعة
صباح الخير أمريكا
من يوم اللي اتكون يا وطن الموج كنا سوا.
صباح الخير، صباح النور. بنعتذر كتير للمستمعين، بلشنا شوي مأخرين اليوم. للحقيقة ما في طريق أخذناها اليوم أنا وضيفتي المحامية المشهورة كتير، المحامية ديبي ريبتور، إلا ما كانت مسكرة اليوم. قد ما في عجقة على الطريق وقد ما في construction على الطريق. بنعتذر كتير من المستمعين. صباح الخير، صباح للجميع. رقم التليفون اليوم هو 248-557-3300. كمان مرة 248-557-3300. بسماح من المستمعين رح ننتقل للغة الإنجليزية، لأنه المحامية اللي ضيفتنا اليوم هي محامية على فكرة أمريكية، وهي محامية لقضايا الطلاق والدومستيك ريليشنز في ولاية ميشيغان، وهي من أشهر المحاميين في هذا المجال، وهي من أصدقائي أو صديقاتي العزيزات جدا. بننتقل للغة الإنجليزية وبرحب بالمحامية ديبي ريبتور. Debbie, good morning. Did you understand everything I said?
Good morning. Other than hello, no.
Okay. I was telling our listeners that we apologize for arriving late. It looks like today every road we took had construction on it.
Absolutely.
We were just around the corner, and lo and behold, the road right opposite Tower 10 or across from Tower 10 was closed. We had to go all the way around. Leila, good morning. Ustaz Hassan Hamid, good morning. Our beautiful videographer today. Good morning, sir, our new engineer. Leila, are you going to participate with us?
I will do my best. If there is any more questions, definitely I will participate.
Okay, very good. The phone number today is 248-557-3300, 248-557-3300. Deborah Rebetor, good morning.
Good morning again.
First off, Deborah, I know how very valuable your time is. I thank you very much for coming and joining us this morning. Today is Tuesday, so I take it you don't have motion day?
I don't. There are some motions in Wayne County, but I cleared my schedule because I wanted to be here. I'm so pleased to have been invited to join your program.
And what a pleasure to have you, Deborah. I was telling my listeners, a number of our listeners, understand Arabic and speak in Arabic, and a equal number or maybe larger number of our listeners, understand and speak Arabic, but also speak English and understand English. I want to tell our listeners that your specialty and you have a nickname, but we're not going to say what that nickname is. Let's just say that the equivalent of that nickname is a very tough divorce attorney. How about that? Can we say that?
I think that would be
Is that
fair.
a politically correct term to say? A very tough divorce attorney. Let's just say that men who are divorcing love to have you as the lawyer.
Well, thank you. I hope an equal number of women.
That's your reputation, Deborah.
Yeah.
I didn't make that up. I remember a dear friend of mine who, of course, shall remain nameless, who turned out as a client of yours, a prominent, physician, and had you as his divorce lawyer, and told me she is, we're not going to say the word, equivalent of, she is very, very tough, and that's wonderful.
I think it's important to be very, very prepared, and sometimes that comes off as tough with the other side when you're just very prepared to present a case on behalf of a client.
Deborah, before we start and before we open the lines, I'm sure a number of people want to call and ask divorce questions. Now we have gay marriage. I wonder the effect of that here in Michigan. We want to talk about domestic violence. There are a number of issues that we want to talk about. How about religious divorce and the effect of that on American divorce, or rather the effect of American divorce on a religious marriage between two Muslim people, and so forth and so on. Before we begin, Deborah Ribitwer, can you give us a brief summary of your background, please?
Certainly I can. I graduated, my undergrad work was done at Wayne State University, and then I attended Detroit College of Law and graduated.
I understand that actually you have graduated cum laude or summa cum laude, meaning at the top of your class.
That is correct.
Very impressive, Deborah.
Thank you.
And how many years ago was that, if you don't mind me asking?
I've been practicing law for 37 and a half years now.
So let me ask you a question. 37 years ago, how many women were attending law school?
Well, our class had 110 people to begin with, and when we entered freshman year, and 6 out of 110 were women.
Wow, 6 women out of 110, and you graduated at the very top of your class.
Well, I studied hard.
Oh, you're amazing. That is extremely impressive, and I sincerely mean it, Deborah. Very, very. How was it to be such a minority, one of 6 women in a class of 110?
I think it made it more interesting, somewhat because professors were sometimes nicer and kinder to you, certainly in a social setting. I loved law school. I had a lot of fun going through it. It's such a different education, as you know, than undergrad, where you're learning to think both sides of every issue. And so I think by the time people...
If you can bring if you don't mind, I think if you can bring the microphone a little bit closer to you. Thank you.
I think by the time people get to graduate school, you're more centered on what you're doing. So I found it to be certainly very challenging, but fun. I didn't mind being the minority. You do well at whatever you do, and that's just how I go through life. I'm prepared for whatever challenges come your way, and that is both been effective in my own life as well as representing clients.
But Deborah, certainly I can understand that way of thinking now. But I mean 37, 36 years ago, when you were one of 6 women in a class of 110 and 104 men, I mean that must have been somewhat intimidating. Was it not, did you not feel the presence of a large number of men back then, or how did the men view you?
I think the men maybe had a harder time viewing us than we had of viewing them. I think all of the women that I attended law school with were there because that's what we wanted to do. It was very interesting when I was applying to law school, when the comments I would get from the public were things like, why do you think you're going to get into law school? When in the way I grew up, it never occurred to me that if I wanted to do something, I couldn't. So for me, the approach was, what do you mean that I'm not going to get into law school because I'm a woman?
Why wouldn't I?
Yeah, why wouldn't I? My grades are good. This is what I want to do. So I think people, both then and now, can make things happen. If you want them to happen, if you want something, you just got to go for it.
Normally, that's a question reserved, Deborah Ribbit, were attorney Deborah Ribbit, were very, very powerful attorney here in Michigan in divorce law and domestic matters. Normally, that's a question that I reserve for the end, but let me ask it from the get-go. What advice, if anything, do you have for women? I know your daughter, your beautiful daughter, is attending law school.
She
and
is.
So is your beautiful son, my sweetheart.
Yes. I'm proud to say I have 2 children who are following in their parents' law.
Indeed, and their dad is a lawyer and a very well-known criminal attorney as well.
So it's
what
nice.
A powerful family,
Yes,
a powerful divorce mom attorney, a powerful criminal law father, and 2 children, 3 children, 2 of whom so far is heading for law school. I don't know, maybe Zach will too, you never know.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
Although he's very set on his music career.
That's right.
But it's nice to know that 2 are following in our footsteps, that they think enough of the profession that they would want to follow in our footsteps, as is your daughter.
Yes. Praise God for that. What advice do you have for women, Deborah, if anything?
Who are going through a divorce?
No. Women who want to pursue an education, women who want to go where no woman in her family has gone before, perhaps.
I have the same advice for them that I always had for myself, and that is everybody needs to make decisions on what they want to do and where they want to go, and they need to make them happen. If you want something bad enough, you can make it happen.
Right.
That's just been through life.
That is wonderful and very simple advice. Instead of asking why not?
Why not?
Why can't a woman become a U.S. president? Why can't a woman become a U.S. senator? We had not too long ago our dear friend, U.S. Congresswoman Brenda Lawrence, who also has had a very impressive rise from U.S. postal worker growing in Detroit to now U.S. Congresswoman. And her road was not easy, and, her background did not stop her. The fact that she came from Detroit, the fact that, she was not a lawyer, the fact that she worked in the post office, none of that prevented her, and now she is representing us in Congress.
And doing it so well.
Right, and doing it very, very, very well. I don't want to do a lot of the talking today. I want to invite questions from our listeners. Any divorce questions that you may have. You have 37 years, did you say?
Almost 38.
Almost 38 years of experience in domestic relations, in divorce law.
Divorce, custody, support cases, preparation of post and prenuptial agreements.
Prenuptial agreements, postnuptial agreements, domestic abuses. Okay. Well, we're going to open the lines, Deborah, and the number to call is 248-557-3300, and we take our first caller, please. Hello.
Hello, good morning,
morning,
Mrs.
sir.
Jumana Kairouz.
Good morning, sir. How
and
are
good
you?
morning to Deborah and our new counselor, and thank you for taking my call. And
with pleasure.
And good morning.
Thank you. And this is Jerry Habba.
Hello, Mr. Habba. Go ahead with your question or comment,
thank you.
please.
Ms. Jumana Kairouz, I address the question to you and especially to divorce counselor, Ms. Deborah. I will say in any divorce cases, kids always are the victims, especially if they are toddlers or teenagers. But, again, divorce is the safe haven when marriage gets sour.
When marriage gets what?
Sour.
Sour. Okay.
Relationship getting worse and worse.
Right.
So here to attorney Deborah, as a divorce lawyer, I will say, would you, counselor, advise your clients to seek in cancellation help with a social or professional provider such as a religious leader, rabbi, or a priest, or imam, to listen to the both parties? Because for any story, there is two sides to listen. And then if there is no solution, the divorce attorney could start the legal professional service. I want to thank you, Ms. Jumana.
Thank you, sir.
And Ms. Deborah, and thanks to Mrs. Layla Al-Husseini for your service to the community. And God bless you.
Thank you, sir. And I want to also mention, Deborah, you were voted one of the top lawyers in Michigan.
Thank you. I was.
Congratulations on that as well. The question is counseling.
Yes, I would always advise people who are still have already filed to seek counseling. It's a very, very difficult time in any person's life. You don't want to file for divorce unless you've exhausted all other possibilities. It's a very serious decision. It is a decision that has an impact, as you said, on not only husband and wife, but children as well. Children don't have to be victims. Parents generally make the children victims because they bring them in and make them too involved in a divorce. Divorce is between a mom and dad. You don't need to make it your children's problem. And so part of what I do in counseling clients who are my divorce clients is to step back and don't involve your children in it. You're going to make the decisions that are in your child's best interest. You don't need to seek their opinion or tell them what's going on in the divorce. You want to shield them from those kind of things.
How often, and we need to take a break soon, and then we'll come back to the subject of counseling, and anybody who has questions for domestic relations, custody, matrimonial law, and divorce, top lawyer of the year, Deborah Rebetwer, after the break. How successful do you find counseling to be? Or do you find that sometimes couples engage in it a bit too late?
I think it's important for anybody who is going through any difficult period or any uncertain period in their life to seek counseling, whether it's because they're divorced or because they're having some problems in their life that don't involve divorce. It's often helpful to talk things out with a third party, being able to express yourself to a psychologist or to a religious leader from your congregation. I think it's helpful to speak to professional people.
Do you find your advice to be to always seek counseling, because it can't hurt before you take on that major life-changing decision?
Certainly it's a question that I always ask a client at my first meeting. Have you sought counseling? Do you think that would be helpful? Some people think it will be, and they leave my office and they go through a period of counseling, and if it works, wonderful, so does the marriage. And sometimes it doesn't work. And they're back in my office. But I always inquire as to whether they've sought counseling, because getting a divorce is a very final gesture in one's life, and I think that the decision should be made with a lot of forethought.
Well, we have to take a very quick break, and then we will be back with top lawyer in Michigan. She was voted top lawyer in Michigan, Attorney Deborah Rebetwer, divorce attorney. Any of your questions, this is a good time to ask them. We have about 25 minutes remaining. The number here is 248-557-3300. We'll take a quick break.
Jumana K-Ruse. You've seen her images on giant billboards across the metro. Jumana K-Ruse. You've seen her images on buses across the city. Now get to know Jumana K-Ruse.
The war broke out in my home country, Lebanon. I was 11 years old. and I saw a lot of bloodshed and inequality and poverty. You can't grow up in an environment like that and not be affected by it and not want to make a difference. I graduated from Yale University with a master's in ethics. I speak 4 languages. It has always been innate in me fighting for the underdog and trying to do whatever it is I can to make a difference in the world.
Let Jumana Kayrus protect your rights. Call the law offices of Jumana Kayrus at 1-866-YOUR-RIGHTS, extension 100, or visit yourrights.com.
سوا على الهواء. سوا على الهواء يأتيكم عبر أثير إذاعة
صباح الخير أمريكا.
من يوم اللي اتكون يا وطني الموج كنا سوا.
صباح الخير، وبنرجع كمان لبرنامج سوا على الهواء مع المحامية دبرا ريبتور، اختصاصية ل 37 سنة في قضايا الطلاق domestic violence إلى آخره. Deborah, welcome again to the show, and the number to call is 248-557-3300. Deborah, tell us about when people are religiously married in the Muslim belief. They are religiously married and they seek a divorce in a court of law. Does the divorce in a court of law nullify the religious marriage? And in the alternative, can a judge in a divorce, in an American divorce court, in essence force the parties to get a religious divorce?
The answer to the second part of your question is no. In the United States, there is a separation of church and state,
okay.
And a court cannot in and of itself order the parties to participate in a religious divorce. If you have entered into your own consent judgment of divorce, so you've agreed to it and you've made that provision a part of it,
the American,
they can enforce it. So they can enforce the provision.
So let me make sure I understand. When we say a judge cannot order, that's a legal term of art, meaning a court order, meaning if you violate the order, there are ramifications. A judge cannot do that. However, if 2 parties consent to it and stipulate to it, then the court, now it's like a private agreement, and it can be entered by the court, and then it becomes part of a court order.
Well, not quite. That's
okay.
Not quite. The court, if the court had tried the case, if the court had a trial and rendered an opinion as to how to divide the property, who gets custody of the children, the court could not have ordered the religious divorce after a trial.
Right, because it does not have authority to do that because of the separation of church and state.
Correct.
Okay.
Now, but very often, in fact, in most cases, people reach a consensus and draft, their attorneys will draft an agreement, a judgment of divorce, that the court will then review, approve, and enter. So if one of the provisions that you have agreed to on your own is that the parties will participate in a religious divorce, and one of the other parties refuses to follow through on that, the court can enforce that agreement.
And how can the court enforce it?
They can enforce it monetarily. They can do a financial penalty, give a penalty for every day you don't do this, I'm going to assess you this. They can they can hold them in contempt of court and use their contempt powers.
Can you explain to our listeners what contempt of court means?
Contempt of court means that there is a court order that you are disobeying.
That you have violated.
The court can hold you in civil contempt. Say that there is a financial penalty. You're going to go to jail, and you can get out of jail by, in fact, obeying the order and perhaps paying a financial penalty. So those are the powers the court has available to them. In addition, attorneys in negotiating the terms of a property settlement agreement, judgment of divorce, in many religions, including the Muslim religion, as I understand it, a woman cannot remarry in the Muslim faith if she doesn't have
a religious
divorce as well as a divorce from the state. And when you're dealing with a woman who then can't remarry and she's denied that source
pursuant to her religion.
Correct.
Okay.
And if you go forward and imagine what that woman's life is going to be like, never being able to marry, never having the financial support, the emotional support of a man, you can talk to the courts, you can suggest to the courts, well, fine, Your Honor, if that's what he wants to do and he doesn't want her to have a religious divorce, you need to award her spousal support because she's never going to have that additional spousal support coming from another man because she's denied the right to marry.
Very interesting. So it's a little bit of a bargaining chip that, okay, you don't want to give her a religious divorce, you are preventing her from getting married, then you'd better give her spousal support for that many years. And have you seen judges then hammer that and order?
I have. As long as you, as an attorney, can present those issues to the court, I find the court is very adaptable and understanding. You need to present them. It's important now we live in America. There are so many cultures in America that one of the first things I do in any meeting with a client is, tell me about your culture. Tell me about your religion. How is that going to impact the divorce? What are there any special religious laws that will prevent you from remarrying? So I need to know my own client, what they're going through and how their culture may impact the divorce so that we understand it and that I make the court understand that there are differences here that we need to point out.
Deborah, how do you find most judges react to men who will be divorced, in a court of law, but are refusing to grant their wives a religious divorce?
I think the court is upset by it, but understand, as I said in the beginning, the courts are limited in their power. They can't order it themselves. They simply do not have the right of law to do that.
Notwithstanding that, what do you feel the sentiment on the part of the judges are when they're faced with a man who's refusing to let his wife move on and seek a new life?
I think that they really adapt to each divorce situation and look at the facts as they're presented by counsel.
I mean, if I were a judge, Deborah, I'd be upset, quite frankly, because if this woman does not want to be this man's wife, and this man is divorced in a court of law, he should not, ethically speaking, morally speaking, hold that religious card over her head and prevent her from moving on with her life. That's what I would feel privately and not so privately as a judge. Now, yes, I don't have a right to enforce any order because of the separation of church of state and
you have the right to enforce it. You can't create it on your own.
That's what I mean. You cannot order it.
But if courts are sensitive to the issue and have counsel present the issue and explain the issue, I think that they're very amenable. I think they're cooperative in the ideas of making somebody financially responsible for the financial damage that you may cause going forward. I think that if you've agreed to something and somebody doesn't do it, although they've agreed to do it in the judgment, I think courts are adapting by using their contempt powers or doing financial penalties that have become effective in making people do what they should be doing, certainly in granting anybody who needs a religious divorce to continue on with their life and remarry. It's not just the Muslim religion. There are other religions that have the same rules. And I think the courts are very adaptable, very amenable as long as counsel present it and make the courts aware of what the damage to one or the other spouse would be by not granting them the religious divorce.
Yes, Layla. No, go ahead.
And I would really ask you kindly if you can translate the most important points for the Middle Eastern women.
Excellent point.
Honestly,
yeah.
it's a very important point here. I'm listening. And also, if I may add and ask a question, most of the women coming from Middle East recently, they don't know they can get their divorce within the United States because
they got married overseas.
And I really...
Excellent question,
it's
too.
really very important to let them know, no, this is not the case. They still can go to court and seek their divorce based on the rules and law. They cannot. They can't do this.
The state in which they're in.
Right.
In other words, if you are married overseas, Deborah, and you just came, can you get divorced in an American court of law?
As long as you were legally married in whatever country, whatever state you came from, as long as you were legally married there, you can get divorced in the state of Michigan as long as you've lived in the state of Michigan in excess of 180 days.
That's 6 months.
And the county 10 days, at least 10 days before you file in that county. Those are the jurisdictional requirements. So as long as you have a legal marriage in wherever you come from, you can get divorced in the state of Michigan as long as you meet those requirements, those jurisdictional requirements.
So with your permission, let me quickly translate two issues. The issue of can an American court enforce or rather impose an order on people to get religiously divorced? And the second question is, if you are married overseas, can you get divorced in an American court? أول سؤال هو هل بحق للمحكمة الأمريكية إنه تأمر رجل وامرأة متزوجين دينيا من إنه يطلقوا؟ الجواب هو سلبي، لأنه في الدستور الأمريكي بالconstitution of the United States في حكمة كتير كبيرة فكروا فيها الفاوندرز تبع الconstitution اللي هي مؤسسين هيدا البلد، اللي هي separation of church and state. يعني ما بيدخلوا الدين بالقانون، ما بيدخلوا الدين بالحكومة، ما بيدخلوا الدين بالسلطة. هيدي مشكلتنا ليلى نحن في البلدان العربية، ما هيك؟ تدخل الدين في السلطة. فكان عندهم كتير حكمة مؤسسين الولايات المتحدة، وفكروا بشيء اسمه، لأنه بيعرفوا أنه أمريكا بالتحديد هي ما في شيء اسمه أمريكا، في الأمريكان إنديانز وما تبقى إجا من كل بلدان العالم، من إنجلترا، من الشرق الأوسط، من أوروبا إلى آخره. the separation of church and state هي بتفرض على أي قاضي إنه ما يقدر يسمح لنفسه أو يكون عنده بالأحرى السلطة إنه يجبر شخصين متزوجين دينيا إنه يطلقوا. ممكن شخصين متزوجين دينيا يتطلقوا مدنيا ويكونوا بعضهم متزوجين دينيا. المحامية دبرا ربتور قالت لي انه اوقات اللي عم بيصير لهؤلاء الاشخاص اجمالا، بلا ما نحن ما عم نتعدى على الرجال هون، بس اجمالا يعني هو الرجل اللي ما بده انه يطلق زوجته واللي هو عنده السلطة دينيا ليلى انه يطلق المرأة ما بحق الا تطلق الرجل اسلاميا. مزبوط.
And recently, Ms. Kiruz, there is a tragedy that had happened in the community. If you are aware of unfortunate several crime being committed recently, it's a tragedy because of similar situation. A guy
where the man is refusing to grant her a religious divorce.
Absolutely, and it should be a way here to maybe.
Well, not legally because of the separation of church and state. So المحامية دبرا ربتور عم بتقول إنه الطريقة اللي عم بيعالجوا القضاة فيها هيدا الموضوع للرجل اللي عم يرفض يعطي زوجته الطلاق الديني، عم بتقول له المحكمة وعم تطلب المحامية أو المحامي تبع الامرأة، أوكي بدك تحرمها من إنه تطلق، بدك تدفع نفقة لمدة أكتر. يعني you cannot have it both ways. You cannot have your cake and eat it too مثل ما بيقولوا. يا تعطيها الطلاق يا بتخليها مرتبطة فيك إذا هيدا اللي بدك بدك تقصصها، وإنما بدك تعطيها نفقة أكبر. ناخد بريك ومنرجع على تاني سؤال، هاللي بيتجوزوا خارج الولايات المتحدة بحق لهم يطلقوا داخل الولايات المتحدة.
I like this جمانة بقصصها
هي مش
absolutely
ما بعرف هيك
بعتقد انه هي قصاص غير عادل كمان للأسف.
بدون شك غير عادل،
بدون شك للطرفين، لأنه رح يخلق مشاكل كبيرة ورح تنعكس سلبيا على الأطفال
لأنه الزواج هو مفروض يكون بين شخصين بيريدوا يكونوا مع بعض.
Absolutely.
طبعا الطلاق منه شيء هين ولا شيء لازم يدخل فيه الإنسان. يمكن هو من أهم القرارات اللي بياخدها الإنسان، يمكن هو أهم قرار بحياة الشخص هو زواج، اختيار الشريك، والاختيار كمان والقرار الثاني اللي هو كتير مهم الانفصال عن هذا الشريك، بالأخص إذا في أولاد. ناخد بريك سريع ومنرجع.
Jumana K-Ruz. You've seen her images on giant billboards across the metro. Jumana K-Ruz. You've seen her images on buses across the city. Now get to know Jumana K-Ruz.
Most people who sit in my office across from my desk are hurting on so many levels. One thing people do not know about medical malpractice is that the statute of limitation, meaning the time that you have to bring suit against a doctor, a hospital, is 2 years. In medical malpractice, that's a very, very short period of time. Not every lawyer is an advocate, but every lawyer should be an advocate.
Let Jumana K-Ruz protect your rights. Call the law offices of Jumana K-Ruz at 1-866-YOUR-RIGHTS, extension 100, or visit yourrights.com.
سوا على الهوا يأتيكم عبر أثير إذاعة
صباح الخير أمريكا.
من يوم اللي اتكون يا وطني الموج كنا سوا.
Good morning again. صباح الخير again. المحامية جمانة كيروز والإعلامية ليلى الحسيني مع المحامية المشهورة جدا في قضايا الطلاق، خبرة 37 سنة. بتخبرني انه وقت اللي ما بعرف ليلى اذا سمعت بالبداية انه وقت اللي التحقت في كلية الحقوق من تقريبا 40 سنة، لانه صار عندها خبرة هلا 37 سنة تقريبا 38 سنة. ليلى كانوا 110 students 110، 6 فقط كانوا نساء only 6 women، واتخرجت بين الأوائل بصفها graduated among the first. So you beat these 106 men.
Thank you.
Thumbs up.
See what we can do when we try.
Oh my goodness, we're going to come across as men haters. We're not men haters. No. We love men, we love women, we love everybody.
We love people.
Absolutely. And before the break, I was going to also translate a very important question because we have a large influx of people who are immigrating to the United States, and a number of them had been perhaps unhappy back in their home country, married, and now are looking to see if they can get divorced here. We are not, of course, encouraging anybody to get divorced. Divorce is a sad event. It can be sometimes a freeing event and often the right thing to do. However, it's a sad thing. I mean, when you think about it, these two people so loved each other and had their wedding, and what happens? They start head over heels in love with each other, and they end up hating each other and fighting teeth and nail. When you think about it, how can you go from one end of the spectrum to the very end of the spectrum? It's just it boggles my mind. But sometimes a divorce is the right thing to do for one or both of the parties. I want to translate very quickly. Yes, people who are married outside of the United States, as long as they are legally married and as long as they have stayed here in the state of Michigan more than 180 days, which is 6 months, and in the county where they're filing more than 10 days, that's a small requirement, then they can get a divorce. الأشخاص اللي تزوجوا خارج الولايات المتحدة طالما زواجهم صالح ومعترف فيه بحق لهم بالطلاق في ولاية ميشيغان، بس لازم يكونوا من سكان ميشيغان. ليكون الإنسان يعتبر من سكان ميشيغان بده يكون صار له 6 أشهر قاعد بميشيغان. بأي كاونتي، إن كانت وين كاونتي، أوكلاند كاونتي، ماكوم كاونتي، بده يكون قاعد هونيك على القليلة 10 أيام. يعني لنقول سلم جدلا سيدة عايشة في ديربون اللي هي وين كاونتي وانتقلت على فارمينغتون هيلز اللي هي أوكلاند كاونتي، تقدر تقدم طلاقة بأوكلاند كاونتي سيركت كورت بده يكون لها عايشة بفارمينغتون هيلز على الأقل 10 أيام. هيدي شغلة كتير بسيطة منا كتير كبيرة. بعد عنا 10 دقايق للاتصالات and we have a call 248-557-3300 for attorney Deborah Rebitor, who also was voted top lawyer of the year.
Not
Yes.
actually top lawyer of the year, just a top lawyer.
Top lawyer. Okay. I'll take it. All right. We take... Hello.
الو
يا أهلا.
يا ست جمانة، بدي اقول لك شغله، انه مش ايام دايما على طول بكون الحق مع المرأة ولا مع الرجال.
مزبوط.
بعدين شغله تاني انه الاولاد عفوا هن اللي بيدفعوا الفاتوره، لانه اذا الام مثلا ما عم تشتغل ولا عندها جود جوب وكانت مش منيحه وصارت تدور وتطلع الاولاد، يعني بينتزعوا الاولاد او بيخربوا الاولاد. يعني مش انه يعني حرام، هيدا يعني هيدا شيء اكبر غلط. لانه انا عفوا يعني شفت حالات كثيره اسالهم مطلقين وبعدين بتشوفيهم عم يدوروا مع هيدا ومع هيدا وحالي، والولد يعني عم يشوف
عم بيضيع الولد بسبب طلاق الرجال والامرأة.
مظبوط. وبعدين
هيدا اللي بيسموه تفكك العائلة، وبدون شك هيدا من مخاطر الطلاق بدون شك. بدون
مش
شك.
بس هيك، لانه عفوا يعني الام هي عاطينا مثل حضانة اولاد وما عمالة تعمل شيء لحتى انه يعني اول شيء تحفظ كرامة الاولاد وتحفظ كرامتها بنفس الوقت.
طبعا.
يعني هي يمكن لانه بده يكون جوزها شاف عليها شغلات كثيره لحتى طلقها، بس المفروض المحكمه انه تعطي الحقوق انه الرجل ياخذ مثلا الحضانه، لانه صفات الانسانه هيدي ما منيحه.
اوكي، اسمح لي حضرتك you raised 2 or 3 issues. حكيت عن تفكك العائلة اللي هيدا شيء، حكيت عن أوقات في نساء غير صالحات وهيدا شيء تاني ومزبوط 100%، وحكيت عن حق الرجل بحضانة الأولاد وقت بتكون الامرأة غير صالحة. وصدقني كل وحدة من هول يمكن بدها حلقة واحدة. The first question that he raised is very sadly, and it is very true, sometimes divorce happens and the unit, the children get lost and there is too much freedom and there are abuses, and those kids, they get caught in the midst of the divorce between the mom and the dad and the lack of enforcement of rules, the lack of structure, going from mom's house maybe to with dad and so forth and so on. And it is very true. Nobody is denying. That's exactly why you started by saying that you need counseling, because we know all too well some of the consequences that don't necessarily have to happen as a result of divorce. So this gentleman, the first issue that he is raising is his concern over what would sometimes happen to some children because they're left with the mom. Because under the current system, unless the mom is deemed unfit, and depending on the age of the children are going to remain with her.
That is actually not true.
Okay.
That is actually not true in the courts.
Okay.
I've obtained custody for as many men as I have women.
Is it because you deemed the woman to be quote unquote unfit?
No, that has nothing to do with the Child Custody Act, which is the title of it is Best Interest of the Child Act.
Best Interests
so
of the
there
child.
are 12 factors that a court has to consider in determining who gets custody.
Okay. في عوامل 12 لازم المحكمة تطلع عليهم قبل ما تقرر مين اللي بيحصل على حضانة الأطفال. Go ahead. Can you list some of those?
Oh, well, the first is the love and affection existing between the children and a parent.
Right.
They're all, who's involved in
Right.
providing the education and the day-to-day needs. They're very arbitrary. The truth of every divorce should be that parents should work together to determine what's in the best interest of their children. There are many homes where a 50-50 split works. There are many homes where
50-50, meaning 50% of the time children are with dad and 50% of the time children are with mom.
Right. That may work in some households. There may be. You and I are both working women.
Right.
Our husbands were working men. We weren't necessarily with our children any more or less than our husbands. There are other homes where the dad is really who's raising the children, who does the homework with them, who takes them to events because mom is too tied up in her career. You need to look at what works for your children. There are children that don't mind going Monday and Tuesday to mom's, Wednesday and Thursday to dad's, and every other weekend. There are other children who would crumble under that circumstance if they had to move every 2 days.
Right.
There are households where it would be better for the children to primarily live with one parent during the school year and the other during the summer, or a more even division in the summer. Every family is different. That's why we do not have a joint custody law in the state of Michigan. Right. We focus on what works for your children, and that's what parents should focus on.
However, realistically, one or both parties to a divorce will act, pursuant to their values. You can't force, and the law can't force, a mom to be a good mom or a dad to be a good dad. And so when the divorce happens, I think it puts a magnifying glass on all these flaws sometimes. And sometimes the mom will rise to the challenge and will take the children under her wing and watch over them and raise them properly and so forth. I think this gentleman who called legitimately is expressing concern about sometimes, in some cases, where the children are mostly with the mom and the mom is not leading a good life, or the dad is not leading a good life post-divorce. What can a man who feels that his children are not well cared for by the woman who is now his ex-wife, what can he do?
He can file a
and vice versa, by the way.
Any custody and parenting time are always modifiable
by a new court order.
Right.
Okay. Let me translate that because we're nearing the end. أي قرار بيطلع من المحكمة إن كان من بعد الطلاق أو من بعد سنة أو من بعد سنتين ممكن يتغير، بس حتى ترجع المحكمة تأمر بأمر جديد الأمر القديم بيضل مطبق. يعني الرجل أو الامرأة بالتحديد، يمكن هون الرجل اللي عطلين هم إنه الأكس وايف تبعه مش عم تعتني بولاده بالطريقة المناسبة وبالطريقة الأخلاقية، بيقدر يقدم file a motion.
If there's a change in circumstances and
file a motion to modify custody
or parenting time.
Right. بيقدم طلب بالمحكمة لحتى يغير الكاستدي أو الوقت، وبيروح عند القاضي وبيشرح للقاضي شو الظروف اللي عم بتخليه يطلب تغيير بهالشي.
Or to have the children be put into counseling. So there are many options available to parents even post-judgment.
Deborah, I am told that our time is up. We haven't even begun to skim the surface of any of these fabulous topics.
And I think it's a worthy another topic, Jumana. And if I may suggest to bring a priest, an imam, and maybe rabbi to discuss also the religious marriage and to add to the topic, please, Jumana.
That would be wonderful, Leila. Perhaps the next Tuesday of next month in August. Attorney Deborah Riberwer, I thank you. We all thank you. Thank you for your valuable time.
And thank you for the invitation. It has been a really pleasant
With
experience.
great pleasure. I apologize, this morning was a little bit stressful.
And anybody can feel free to call me if they have any further questions.
Your office is in Bloomfield Hills. Will you give the number, please?
647-7900.
And by the way, anybody who needs to reach her can go through my office or Leila Al Husseini, and we would be more than happy to provide her phone number. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.